Hare Krishna, everyone. Happy Vamana Dwadashi. Today is the day. Today is the amazing appearance of Lord Vamana, one of the main avatars of Shri Krishna. So this is the actual day, and almost to the hour. He was born on Shravan Dwadashi, also known as Vijaya Dwadashi, in the month of Bhadra. And sometime around noon, when the constellation of the star auspicious moment of Abhijit Nakshatra. So this is it. Hare Krishna, everyone. Are we live on Instagram? I'm just trying to check if everybody can hear me. Hare Krishna, everyone. Just checking Instagram. Today is the most auspicious appearance day of Lord Vamana. Vamana Dev Bhagavana Ki Jai. What an incredible story. What an incredible pastime. So we're just going to go over it. We did part 1 yesterday. We came up to this point of when Vamana Dev actually takes birth from Mata Aditi and Kashyapa Muni. So today is a very special day, and we're just going to recount the amazing love that is exchanged between Vamana Dev and Bali Maharaj. There's just so many layers of hidden love between them. You know, the first Bali Maharaj doesn't really know who this is, but very soon he realizes this is, the Lord of his heart, and he can't hide his excitement and great fortune on having the Lord come and beg from him. And the more you read, the more you hear about this katha, this pastime, it just becomes overwhelming how much love they bestow on each other. Krishna wants to glorify Bali. Vamana Dev wants to glorify Bali in every possible way. He wants the whole world to know about his great surrender. And Bali Maharaj just can't wait to give everything to Krishna. So we're going to get right into it. Chalayasi vikramana balina dhutavaman pavana khamira janita jana pavana keshavadveta vamana rupa jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana. All glories to you, O wonderful dwarf Vamana. Bhattu, he comes as a baby. Not really a baby, he's very young, but he's actually quite small in stature as well. By your massive steps you deceive King Bali, and by the Ganges water, Ganga Devi flows, that has emanated from the nails of your lotus feet. You deliver all living beings within this world. So we're going to hear about how that happens. But just take a moment to, really meditate and appreciate how incredible this is, that Krishna appears as a dwarf Brahmana. Why? Simply, externally it seems like to manifest Aditi's desires and to protect the devas who have been displaced from their home. It seems externally that Krishna is just an order carrier in one sense. Like Srila Prabhupada says, don't use the Lord as an order carrier to fulfill your desires. And yet he does. He wants to fulfill all the desires of his devotees. So we read up until, went over up until Vamana Dev actually appears. So we're going to, this is Canto 8 of the Bhagavatam, Chapter 18. The appearance of Lord Vamana and the joy of the universe. Of course, whenever Krishna appears in the universe, Lord Brahma can immediately tell, and we heard that he could, in his meditation, he knew that this Amsha Avatar has entered into Aditi's womb, so he started offering prayers. That was beautiful shloka. in chapter 18, describing the Lord's beauty. What did Vamana Dev look like? Initially, he's in his four-handed Narayana form before he takes the form of a dwarf. Shyama Vadato Jasharaja Kundala Trishol Sachri Vadanam Bujahuman Shivatsavaksha Dalayam Gadolosat Kiritakanchi Gunachari Puraha. His complexion was blackish and pure. He wore sharp-shaped earrings, and thus his beautiful lotus face shone with luster. His bosom has the mark of Srivatsa. He wore bracelets and armlets, a shining crown, a belt on his waist, a sacred thread, and beautiful ankle bells. He wore an uncommonly beautiful, fragrant garland that attracted hummingbees that invaded them for honey. By his effulgence he vanquished the darkness in Prajapati Kashyap's home, and he wore a Kaustubha gem on his neck. There was happiness in all directions. The Lord appeared on Vamana Dwadashi. Musical instruments like the conch shell, kettle drums, panavas, anakas vibrated in concert, making a tumultuous sound. All the universal residents, Apsaras, the Gandharvas, Apsaras danced, Gandharvas sang, and the sages, demigods, Manus, Pitris, the fire gods, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Kinpurushas, Kinnaras, Chanaras, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Suparnas. They all showered flowers on Aditi's residence. Aditi was struck with wonder and became joyful upon seeing the Lord, who appeared by his own spiritual potency from her womb. And Prajapati Kashyapa exclaimed, Jai, Jai, Vamana Devi ki Jai, in great happiness and wonder. The reaction of Aditi and Kashyapa. Now, the Lord first appeared as Narayana with four hands. This is the form being described. Ornaments and weapons. Then to please his parents, he assumed the form of Vamana, a Brahmana dwarf, Vatu, meaning little, a brahmachari, just like a theatrical actor, like a natavara. So, although the Lord has millions of forms, they are not different to one another. The Amsha Avatara does not mean that he is any less than the Supreme Person himself. This is the Lord himself coming with full potency. We can't really fathom what that means. It's very hard to describe what an avatar is to, especially a non-Hindu or non-Vaishnava. They cannot fathom why the Lord would come himself to do this kind of beautiful pastime, to interact with his devotees. But he does. He comes himself. This is the Lord himself. Then they did the birth ceremony. All the samskaras, they actually did this for Vamana Dev. The birth samskara, then the sacred Tadupanayana samskara, the name giving ceremonies, and the sacred thread ceremony. It's all the demigods, all the various residents of this universe came to bestow their blessings upon little Vamana. The sun god Savita himself chanted the Gayatri mantra at his sacred thread ceremony. Brihaspati gave him the sacred thread, the Brahmasutram. Kashyapa Muni the belt. Muni Devi gave him the deer skin. Brahmadanya, the umbrella, water pot, kusha grass. These were all given by Brahma, 7 sages. The Saraswati Devi gave him the Rudraksha beads. Kuvera gave him a pot for begging. And Parvati ji gave him his first bhiksha, dakshina, a bhiksha. So when we have the Upanayana samskar of our boys as well, when Raman turned about 12, and all of these are the vidhi, the rituals that you follow during the Upanayana samskar. You get the kamandalu, the umbrella, sacred thread, the stick, and you're supposed to be obviously given the Gayatri mantra with the thread, and you must beg for bhiksha. as a dakshina to your gurus. Um, so Vamana Deva was truly instated in full power and glory as such by doing the Supanandam Samskar. Like now everybody knows he's a real Brahmana. He's a Dvija, twice born, like with the stamp. Of course, this is the Supreme Lord. But now he has all the alankars, the decorations of a Brahmana, Brahmachari. So now when he knows what he's supposed to do. He knows he's supposed to go and find Bali. And where are they? Where is Bali Maharaj doing his mega sacrifice? He's doing the Ashwamedha Yagna. And he's going, Vamana Dev knows exactly where to go. To Brigugacha. This is on the northern banks of the Narmada River. When Vamana Dev enters, everybody is just completely shocked with his bright effulgence and beauty. From far, they can't really tell who has entered. They actually think, is this the sun the sun itself rising in the middle of the day? Is there another sun rising? And they're completely overwhelmed by his beauty. While the priestess argued in various ways, is this the sun? Vamana, the Brahmin dwarf holding a rod, water pot and umbrella, wearing a sacred thread, Kushabab, deerskin and matted locks of hair, entered the sacrificial arena. The priests stood up from their seats and welcomed him properly by offering obeisances. This is very interesting because it's described in other places that when you see a great personality enter, we must all rise. That's why when we have darshan at the temple, if darshan is about to open and you're about to have darshan of the Lord, see the Lord directly, you're supposed to rise. And if the guru enters the house or a guest comes, you should rise. This is to show respect, and my Guru Maharaj is describing that when you don't rise, when your prana doesn't rise in the presence of such a elevated personality with so much Brahma Tejas, because their prana is very high, if you do not rise to welcome them, you lessen your ayu, you lessen your lifespan. Very interesting. If you don't show respect, it is actually at our own peril and detriment. So, always rise in front of great Vaishnavas. So, now, Vamana Deva is going to be welcomed by Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj actually is completely in awe. Who is this boy? Who is this beautiful, shining, effulgent boy? And he knows he's someone special. Immediately Bali Maharaj can tell this is someone very special. And he washes his feet, he welcomes him. What can I do for you? And why does he wash his feet? This beautiful verse, Vamana Deva's auspicious lotus feet. Tatpada shocham jana kalmasha paham sadharma vinodhyam mudhya adadhat sumangalam yaddeva devo girishashchandra maulir vedhara mudhana paraya chatapya. The water that washed the Lord's lotus feet washes away the sinful reactions of everyone. Being aware of religious principles, Bali Maharaj placed that foot water on his head. That water, the Ganga, is carried on his head with great devotion by Lord Shiva, Gangadhara, the best of demigods, who holds the emblem of the moon on his forehead. So, what can we imagine about the greatness and the power in the Charanamrit? When you go to the temple, if you're lucky, you'll be given some Charanamrit. We should immediately accept it, drink it, and put it on our head. Because what does it do? It washes away all of our sinful reactions, simply by even having darshan of the Lord's lotus feet, or to speak of drinking the water that has washed his lotus feet. Lord Shiva is holding that water which has come from the lotus feet of the Lord, that same Charan Amrit. Lord Shiva is holding it on his head. And that is the purity and sanctity of Ganga Devi. That's where she gets her power and wondrous purity. Ganga water is sanctified because it emanates from the toe of Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva is one of the Mahajanas. Bali Maharaj also later becomes a Mahajan. one Mahajan follows another Mahajan. This is the Parampara system. So Lord Shiva is putting that water on his head, and Bali Maharaj is also washing Vamandev's feet and putting that water on his head. Vamandev is welcomed by Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj is proclaiming, today is the auspicious arrival. You have come to my house, and all of my forefathers are now satisfied because of your presence. Today, my dynasty has become sanctified. My sacrifice has become complete. The sacrificial fire is ablaze according to the Shastras, and all my sins are destroyed by by the water from your lotus feet. The entire earth is sanctified by the touch of your small feet. So Bali Maharaj, he knows this is the Lord himself, but he's not going to say it just yet. This is really beautiful that they kind of hide their love for each other. Vamana is trying to hide that this is my pure devotee, and Bali Maharaj is trying to hide that this is the Lord of my heart. He is, my beloved, and I would like to give him everything, but he's going to pretend, no, you're a Brahmana. You are a great Brahmana, and I must welcome you, and now I'm purified and sanctified. So Bali Maharaj finally says, ask me for anything, because when a Brahmana comes, you're supposed to give dakshina. That is our duty. As a grihastha, it is our duty to give dakshina to any Brahmana that comes to our home. And not just a duty, it is a privilege. It is our great fortune to be able to have a worthy Brahmana who we can give some dakshina to. Okay, then Vamana, the next chapter is Vamana begging charity from Bali Maharaj. So Vamana was satisfied with his welcome. He's very pleased. Bali is doing his duty very nicely. Everyone here at this Ashwamedh Yajna is welcoming me. So Vamana praises Bali's words, and he says, your words are sumritam, kula uchitam, and dharmayutam, yashaskaram. Your words are true. They're worthy of your dynasty. Bali Maharaj comes from a very great lineage of Prahlad, his own father Virochan, and Vamana is also going to kind of a little bit flatter Bali by saying, even your great forefathers like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they're so great. And he says, you have spoken and you're acting in accordance to religious etiquette, dharmayutam, and you have enhanced your reputation by welcoming me so nicely. You're increasing your yashaskaram. Bali then, Vamana praises Bali's ancestors and superiors and dynasty and Bhrigu Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. And he kind of is, a little bit flattering him. He's saying, your great grandfather, Hiranyakashipu, he was looking everywhere for Vishnu, and he instilled so much fear in Vishnu that Vishnu had to go and hide. That's how great your great grandfather was. And so he's praising him. He's praising Virochan, praises Bali, and then he begs from Bali. He says, Maharaj, I only want 3 steps of land. I only need 3 steps of land from you. And Bali at this point is now, his ego has been flattered, and he's gonna get a little bit offended. If you have come here, you're like 1 foot, 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. Vamana was very small. Not only is he a boy, but he's also he's a dwarf. So he's very little. So can you imagine his 2 feet? His 2 feet will cover not much space. 3 feet, sorry. The 3 feet, 3 steps will cover very little space. So Bali gets a little offended, and he says, what do you mean? You should ask for more. But Vamana had said, I don't want anything else. Although you are the king of the universe, Jagadishwara, you are very generous, Vadanya. A learned man only takes charity according to his needs. Yavad artha pratigraha. Then he will not be entangled in sin. So Vamana is speaking this big high philosophy. So Bali is saying, you sound very learned and scholarly, but you may be scripturally scholarly, but you're not worldly. You don't understand that 3 steps of land is not going to be enough for you. So ask for more. I can give you anything you desire. I am the Lord of all of this Brahmanda, of all these lokas. So ask something worthy. Anyone who begs charity from me should never have to go anywhere else to ask. मेरे सामने हाथ फैला है तो उसके बाद किसी और के सामने हाथ नहीं फैलाना चाहिए. That should be my reputation at stake. Bali has given charity to this Brahmana. Why is this Brahmana having to ask for more anywhere else? So this is ahankar. I am lokanam ekam palayam. Like I am the proprietor of all of these lokas. Bali has this ego. So he says, ask for me something more. Don't be so foolish. Don't be immature. He says, you are balo balisha matihi, abuddha. You don't understand your own swartham. I can give you a whole dvipa. Why are you only asking for 3 steps? This is the point where a little bit of ego is being expressed by Bali Maharaj. Actually, it is described that the reason why Krishna ties him up later is because of the slight ego that has crept in. Obviously, this is all Leela. Bali Maharaj is a pure devotee. And this is all to express and enhance each other's love, Bali's love for Krishna, and to actually show just how great his sacrifice is. That truly he is, in one sense, the ruler of the entire Brahmanda. He had become Indra. And so he is true, but he expressed it in an egotistical way. So Krishna is going to tie him up. This is a very beautiful point. Then Vamana Dev speaks really high philosophy about a very special principle of satisfaction. Let me just close this door. The kids are playing mridanga. Bye. Sorry about that. Right, so this is a very beautiful instruction given by Vamana Dev to Bali Maharaj when Bali Maharaj says, you should ask for more. Vamana says, even all the sense objects within the 3 worlds cannot satisfy a person with uncontrolled senses. Ajitendriyam. One who has not won over his indriyas, this person cannot be satisfied with all the pleasure in the 3 worlds. Isn't it true? Yes, people in this world are anxious to get more and more things for sense gratification. However, the purpose of life is not sense gratification, but self-realization. The purpose of controlling the senses is to stop one's implication in the cycle of birth and death. But he says, if I'm not satisfied with these 3 steps of land, I will not be satisfied with even one of the 7 islands of the Bhumandala, due to the desire for other islands. Vamana Dev is trying to express that greed. Greed creeps up on everybody. Examples of King Prithu and Gaya ruled over the 7 dvipas. Still they could not achieve satisfaction. Beautiful shloka here. Yadrichayo papannena santushta vartate sukham na santushtas tribhirloker ajitatma prashaditaihi. One should be satisfied with whatever one achieves by one's previous destiny. One who is not self-controlled will not be happy, even with possessing the 3 worlds. And the next is very interesting because there's different effects of dissatisfaction depending on who we are. If we are a Brahmana and you are interested in spiritual empowerment, spiritual power, then if you are not satisfied with what you have, your spiritual power decreases like fire is extinguished by water. Very interesting. But the Brahmana, this santushtaha, this quality of being satisfied, is very, very important. And to the degree that we are unsatisfied, dissatisfied, to that degree we will be losing our Brahma Teja, our power, this Brahminical power that we have. but for living entities, just for the normal population, if we want to achieve liberation, then we must be satisfied. If we are simply satisfied, we will become fit for liberation from this material world. Amazing. If we are not satisfied, if we continuously live within this mind frame of dissatisfaction, I want more, I need more, I want more, then that dissatisfaction itself will become the cause of material repeated cycle of birth and death. That is the cause of bondage in this world. Very interesting, very amazing. So something for us to really meditate on, that satisfaction is hard to achieve if we don't make it a priority. We look around us, we look on social media, every indication is to keep us dissatisfied. The news, there's always something wrong, someone always has more than me, there's always comparison. Even amongst spiritual communities, even amongst devotees, we can find there's so many reasons to be dissatisfied. We must make it a priority how to always be satisfied, because that's one of our tickets. Practicing satisfaction, in the words of Vamana Dev, will help us get rid of this cycle of birth and death. So in conclusion, I only ask for 3 pieces of land for you. This much will satisfy me. The way to happiness is to be fully satisfied with whatever is absolutely needed. Jitna zarurat hai, utna hi rakhna hai. No more, no less. Bali Maharaj smiled and told Vamana, all right, take whatever you like. To confirm his promise, Bali then took up his water pot, made like a pratigya. Okay, fine. I can't dissuade you. Three steps of land it is. And he's going to now take a pratigya of giving donation. Now, of course, at this point, Shukracharya, the guru of Bali Maharaj, gets very worried. He's like, uh-oh. He knows. Shukracharya is a very, very great rishi, sage. He's Sarvagya in one sense. He knows what's going to happen. But now Krishna in his heart is going to make him say some things. That this is Lord Vishnu, be careful, Bali, do not give him this promise. Do not say yes. Don't do it. And he gives him so many reasons, particularly 9 reasons Shukracharya lists for Bali to not give this donation. He knows the identity. This Brahmachari dwarf is personally the imperishable Lord Vishnu who appeared as the son of Aditi and Kashyapa. And his purpose is to fulfill the desire of Aditi, to protect the demigods. He has come with an agenda. He is not on your side. He is on the side of the demigods. Do not agree to this. He is going to harm the demons. The promise you have unknowingly made will bring great inauspiciousness to the asuras. Hari, this is Hari himself, and what does Hari do? Hari har leta hai. Hari takes away. What does he take away? Actually, he takes away all of our suffering, and he steals our mind and heart. This is the characteristic of one who is Hari. He steals the mind, and the mind cannot help but gravitate towards him, be attracted to Krishna himself. But he has come in the form of Hari, and he's going to steal all your wealth. For the non-devotee, Hari comes in the form of death. For Hari comes in the form of taking away everything. It doesn't come in the form of death here. But he's saying he's going to take your land, your wealth, your beauty, your power, fame, and education, and he's going to give it all to Indra. Do not agree. Then reason 5, how will you live? He's going to take everything within these 3 steps. You're going to have nothing left. Actually, Shukracharya is worried about how he's going to live, because Bali is the source of his income. Shukracharya is the guru, and Bali is the king. The king is looking after the brahmanas in the land, so he's actually worried, well, how am I going to live? You can't even fulfill your promise. Shukracharya is saying he's asking for 3 steps. He will take everything, and even that will not be enough for the 3 steps. You will not be able to keep this promise. So Shukracharya knows what's going to happen. This is the power, the tejas, the siddha these siddhis that the Brahmanas have. He knows. He knows that Vamana in 2 steps is going to cover everything. Then, when you don't keep your promise, you're going to have to go to the hellish planets because you've broken your promise. You're going to have hellish destination. And then he says, livelihood is more important than charity. Yes, dhanam for a king is very important, especially to the Brahmana. But becoming homeless is not going to get you anywhere. Your charity should not be should not endanger your livelihood. Actually, Shukracharya is very, very, very intelligent. His Shukra Niti, this is something to be studied and followed because he's explaining the rules and the wisdom, the life hacks that what we would actually need in life to live peacefully. Because, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Kavinam Ushana Kavi. So, Krishna says, amongst all the Kavis, I am Ushana Kavi. Ushana is Shukracharya himself. So, he's not an ordinary being. Krishna is saying, I am Shukracharya amongst all the Kavis, the learned people who know. So, what he's about to describe, it's true. He's weighing out the options of charity versus losing everything. He's saying when you give charity, you should only have to divide one's wealth into 5 parts. You don't give everything away. That's not intelligent charity. Then you have the other 4 parts should be for religion, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, family maintenance, reputation, opulence. You've got to look after everything. The king shouldn't give away everything in charity. Then he says, take back your promise. Shukracharya is literally telling Bali Maharaj, take it back. Say you can't do it. Okay. A promise is truthful preceded by the word Om and untruthful if it is not. He's giving some loopholes. He didn't say Om, you haven't made the promise through mantra, chalega. You can just say, I can't do it. Maintaining the body even by untruths. Very interesting. That we have some freedoms that if you're trying to survive, then sometimes thoda jhoot bolne se chalega. Shukracharya bol rahe hain. He's telling him that it's okay. Sometimes you can say some lies. You can deceive somebody if you need to maintain your life. So this is the difference between somebody who's trying to, use the situation. There's Niti Shastras and there's Dharma Shastras and there's, they're different. So he might be right. Shukracharya is right. He has, whatever he's saying must be true. There must be these loopholes for people who need them, for people who want them. He's saying the bad qualities of truth. Sometimes, giving everything away to a beggar, one will be unfulfilled in self-realization and will be unfulfilled in sense gratification. Sometimes it's good to lie. Then when can one lie? He gives very 4 or 5 exceptions when it's okay to lie. Interesting. He says it's okay to lie in flattering a woman, in joking, in marriage. It's okay to sometimes have some small white lies. In earning a livelihood, in life danger, in protecting the cows and the Brahminical culture, and in protecting a person from an enemy's hand. Sometimes these are the exceptions when you may utter a white lie. Thoda sa jhoot bol liya. Chalega. This is Shukraniti for you. This is not saying that we can make a habit of it and always keep lying. This is saying these are the exceptions where if you uttered a lie in these cases, it's okay. You will not be punished. It is more important. Self-preservation is more important. So interesting. Of course, Bali Maharaj is listening to his guru, but he's remaining silent. He's like, okay, what you're saying is true, my dear guru. What you're saying is true. Dharma of a householder, like a grihastha, does not hinder his artha, kama, yasha and vritti, like livelihood. Dharma doesn't usually come in between these things. As a householder, as a grihasthi, as a king, I have a right to protect my artha and my kama and my yasha and my vritti, my livelihood. But these are material considerations. These are things that a Mahabhagavat is not interested in these things. A devotee of the Lord is not simply interested in looking after his vritti and yasha and dharma and artha. He has only one desire, and that is to please the Lord. It's so sweet. So now Bali Maharaj in response gives 9 reasons why he should give charity to Vamana Deva. So this is going to be a little bit of a debate between them. Bali Maharaj first glorifies his ancestors, Prahlad Maharaj, and he says, I'm going to follow in the footsteps, I should follow in the footsteps of Prahlad, my great-grandfather. I'm the grandson. I'm the grandson of Prahlad. Thus, my nature is to be favorable to the Lord. How can I withdraw my promise out of greed for money? Just by vitta lobhena and cheat a brahmana. So, sin of a lie. Ooh, this is a very famous verse. Nahi asatyat paro dharma iti hovacha bhur iyam sarvam sodhum alam manye rite nika tarannaram. So there is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness, asatya. Mother Earth once said this. So Bhumi Devi is proclaiming that there is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. Why? Bhumi Devi says, I can bear any heavy thing. I can bear the boja, the burden. I can bear the weight of anything except for the burden of a most heinous liar. Alika param. Alika param. But the worst type of liar, especially by a brahmana. I can carry the burden. I can manage the burden of anything that this world is. When we lie and cheat in this world, we are a burden on the earth, on Mother Earth. Our sinful activities on this planet are a burden on Bhumi Devi. She has to carry that burden around. And she says the heaviest amongst those burdens is a liar, especially a Brahmana liar. So Bali Maharaj is using that niti against his guru. Fear of cheating a Brahmana. He says, I do not fear hell. I do not fear poverty, an ocean of distress, or falling from the position of Indra, or even death itself, as much as I fear the cheating of a Brahmana. Right? He's saying this is a really, really horrible thing. I would not do that. I would rather go to hell than cheat a Brahmana. I don't mind if I become poverty-stricken and lose everything. Because everything is temporary anyway. Wealth is going to be separated at the time of death. Why not please the Brahmana, the Vipra, with those gifts that I anyway lose at death? Actually, there's only a few destinations of wealth. Wealth is either supposed to be used, it is supposed to be given in dana, in charity, or it gets lost at death. Those are the 3 options for wealth. If you don't use it, those who are kripana, who are miserly and just keep it, I'm just going to keep it for myself, or I'm just going to keep it for my generations of families to come after me, should keep some wealth for them, should keep something for them. But not that you just accumulate more and more and just save it. And don't give any daan to the people who need it. Don't really use it for themselves. You see a lot of miserly people in this world who have so much wealth, but they're so afraid of losing it. And what ends up happening ultimately is everything is lost at the time of death. So it is said, only 3 destinations for wealth. Use it on yourself, on your family. Enjoy it. That's what Lakshmi Ji has come to you for. It is your right. Enjoy a little bit of it. And give dana. Though that is the instruction and direct obligation. That is the dharma of every grihasthi. They must give charity. And apart from those 2, there is no other cause of keeping wealth. You use it on yourself and your family, and give it in dan. Any other accumulation past beyond those two things is going to be lost at the time of death, so is pointless. Then he gives historic examples, the Rishi, Shibi, and many other great men who sacrificed their own lives for the benefit of the people in general. Why should I hesitate to give up this insignificant land? This is a nice one. Fame. Fame. He uses the example of fame. Bali Maharaj says, what's the point? Time has destroyed everything that the great, heroic, demonic kings had, except their reputation. So one should achieve a good reputation, yasha, instead of anything else. Because it's true, whatever we build, whatever palaces and great accomplishments we have in this material world, that will all be destroyed in due course of time. Kala will take away everything. The only thing that remains is reputation. People will talk about the great Prahlad. They'll talk about the great Bali Maharaj. For millenniums upon millenniums, they will talk about his fame, how wonderful they were in their surrender, in their love for the Lord. So he's saying, why should I worry about this land? I should worry about my reputation as a devotee, as a great charity giver. I should worry about that. Good example. The rarity of a chance for charity. Many men have laid down their lives gloriously on the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting, but rarely could they get an opportunity to give charity to a Brahmana. I'm saying this is very, very rare chance. We should all take this upon ourselves, that giving charity for Krishna or his Vaishnava or the devotee is a very rare opportunity. So many times you hear people complain, अरे इस्कॉन वाले पैसा ले जाएंगे हमारा. अरे आप इतने नसीब वाले होने चाहिए, आप इतने भाग्यशाली होने चाहिए कि आपसे कोई पैसा ले जाए भगवान के लिए. ऐसे आपकी सबका ऐसा नसीब नहीं है. Not everybody is so fortunate that their wealth and their money will be used in Krishna's service. Many people will complain, oh, these ISKCON people are always asking me for money. This devotee is always asking me for money. You should be, thanking your great good fortune that somebody comes and begs for your money to be used in Krishna's service. This is Bali Maharaj stating it right here, the rarity of that chance. People easily can get that glorious chance in the battlefield to give up their life, being unafraid and fighting. Even that's easy in comparison to the chance of giving charity to a Brahmana, to a real devotee, to a real worthy personality. God isn't going to come himself to take your charity. God isn't going to appear in front of you. He's going to come in the form of a devotee, in the form of a Brahmana. And when that person comes knocking, we should consider it our most fortunate day, that we can give something and release ourselves from that all the sin that we have accomplished, we have accumulated over so many lifetimes, only if we are so lucky. Okay, poverty is inauspicious. Poverty is auspicious, sorry. Bali Maharaj is saying, actually, poverty is auspicious. This is very beautiful. He says, the glory of a benevolent and merciful giver is in becoming poverty-stricken by giving charity to the needy. So the greatest charity giver, the most, charitable person will actually give up his own wealth to help someone who is needy. Then what to speak of giving charity to a knowledgeable Brahmana like you? Similarly, I must give this brahmachari whatever he wants. He's telling Shukracharya, look, I have given you everything without any hesitation because you're a Brahmana. So why should I hold back for this little boy, this little brahmachari? Because, I should be doing it because even that poverty is a blessing if I have done it to give charity to the needy. If one becomes poor and losing money in business, gambling, intoxication, no one will praise him. Very important point. Nobody is going to appreciate if you become poor because you couldn't become successful in life, because you lost money in business, because you were gambling, because you became intoxicated. Nobody is going to care about your poverty. It's not going to be praised. But if one becomes poor by giving away everything, that person will be adored all over the world. Who is that person? Bali Maharaj is that person who gave away everything and became poor. Lost everything. That charity is given for a good cause, and that poverty is very auspicious if we ever get that chance. Lord Vishnu himself has come. This is another reason he's giving. The person whom great sages like yourself, he's reminding Shukracharya that isn't this the purpose of our yajna? This Ashwamedha yajna that we are doing, every time we put ahuti, every time we put something in he is the Yajna Purusha himself. He is the person who we all worship. And he has arrived, he has come to us. Why would I say no to him? Whether he has come to punish me, or whether he has come as my benevolent Lord, I must carry out his order. Right? Obviously. Vishnu is the highest. This is the Vedas are recommendations for worshipping many demigods. But Vishnu is a supreme person, and worship of Vishnu is the ultimate goal of life. The principles of Varnashram Dharma are meant to organize society to prepare everyone to worship Lord Vishnu. This is the Varnashram Dharma goal. And Shukracharya knows this. This is what he's been teaching them. This is what they have been practicing. But now he's trying to, go back step. Okay, there's many other reasons given, but now finally Shukracharya realizes this Bali is not going to give it up. He's not going to listen to me. He's doing Guru Avagya. He's going to disobey me, and he gets very angry. This is all Leela. Shukracharya already knows what's going to happen. So he curses Bali. He says, for your disobedience, thinking yourself to be so learned, you dare to be so impudent, and you disobey my order, you shall very soon become bereft of all of your opulence. He already knew this was happening. Shukracharya knows the Lord has come to take everything from him. So he's just falling in line with the story, and he curses and may he lose everything. And this is the moment that Vamana Deva is waiting for, really. Because only when Bali disobeys the Brahmana will he actually be able to lose everything. Remember, Lord Vishnu tells Aditi, I cannot do anything until his destiny or fortune turns. When did Bali's fortune turn? At this moment. When he disobeys his guru now rejects him and curses him. Uska patan hoga. Materially, he's going to fall from his position, from all his opulence, everything he's going to fall. Now it's very interesting to note that Vamana Deva cannot, or he does not do anything until this point. Krishna tells Aditi, I must wait until Bali loses the power he has gained from serving the Brahmanas, from serving the Guru. This is such a beautiful thing. Krishna does not interfere in this Brahminical structure. He is, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hataya, Jagaditaya Krishna, Govindaya Namo Namaha. He is the beloved of the cows and the Brahmanas, and he looks after them. He protects them. So he will never go against them. Now that Bali has disobeyed his Brahmana Guru, now it's okay to take everything away from him. So beautiful. Okay. So Shukracharya was inspired by the Lord. Nothing happens without Krishna's, arrangement. He's arranging all of this as a leela, a daiva prahita. That's why Shukracharya curses Bali, and this was all influenced by his previous offense to the Supreme Lord. Bali was not swayed. Even though Shukracharya curses him, he doesn't falter from his promise. He doesn't get scared. Oh my God, my guru is cursing me. Now I should lie and say I'm not going to give it. No. He still stands steadfast, and he washes Vamana's feet again. Right? Bali Maharaj's wife, Vindhyavali, brought water in a golden pot. Bali jubilantly washed the Lord's lotus feet and then took it on his head, that foot water which delivers the entire universe. Now, praise for Bali, Gandharva, Vidyadhara, Siddhar, everybody's praising Bali Maharaj. This is so beautiful. No one can give anything to the Lord, for he is full in everything, right? Krishna owns everything. The Supreme Lord owns everything. Lord Vishnu is the proprietor, the origin of everything. And everything belongs to him. It is like offering a pond full of Ganga water back to the Ganga. What can be more pure and more worthy of offering to Ganga Devi than her own water? Similarly, what we offer to the Lord does not belong to us, nor does it enrich his opulence. Okay, when we offer something back to Krishna, Bali offering this charity to Vamana Dev is not going to enrich Vamana Dev's opulence. Vamana Dev already owns everything. Bhagavan already is the proprietor of everything. It's not going to increase his property or his opulence. He only does it to increase our fame. When he gives something, it purifies us. He does it for our benefit. Okay, we're going to move a bit faster now because we have so much more left and we have already done 50 minutes. Okay, let me just move past. Vamana Dev then takes one step and first he increases in size. This is the most amazing, beautiful, adbhuta pastime, this Leela for Vamana Dev. He increases his size from this little 2-foot tall dwarf Brahmana to covering the entire universe with his unlimited body, including the earth, the planet, sky, direction, ocean, birds, beasts, human beings, demigods, and sages. He includes everything in one step. Then, let me just skip to the part where the entire surface of the earth with one footstep, he includes the entire earth in one footstep, the sky with his body, and all the directions with his arms, the heavenly planets with his second step. Not even a spot remained for the third step, for the Lord's foot extended higher and higher, beyond Maharlok, Janalok, Tapalok, and even Satyalok. Bali Maharaj promised Vamana Dev, own the land occupied by steps. But how can the Lord occupy the sky also? Jiva Goswami answers that the steps include everything downward and upward. When one stands up, one certainly occupies certain parts of the sky and certain portions of the earth below his feet. Thus, there was nothing uncommon for the Lord when he occupied the entire sky and everything within it with his body. So his body took up all the space in the sky. So everything was covered. There was not even one drop left for Vamana Dev to put his third foot, because he had promised him 3. Trivikrama. That is another name for Lord Vamana. Urukrama. Trivikrama. One who took over everything with 3 footsteps. 3 adbhuta steps. And then he also showed his weapons. Because when he was showing his Virat Roop like this, all of his weapons were manifest. The Sudarshan disc, the bow, the Panchajanya conch shell, the Kaumudaki club, the Vidyadhara sword, the shield with hundreds of moon-like spots, and Akshaya Sayaka, the best of quivers. Everything of Krishna's has a name. The quiver is Akshaya Sayaka. Vidyadhara is his sword. Now, obviously, Krishna he's shining. Vamana, even in his universal form like this, he's absolutely beautiful. He's brilliant. He's wearing a helmet, bracelets, glittering earrings, like shark-shaped earrings, right? And on his bosom were the Srivatsa mark and the Kaustubha gem, same as before. Now it's a universal form. From Vamana form, he's gone into the universal form. And the universal form he's got these characteristics: the Srivatsa, the Kaustubha, the yellow garment with a belt and a garland surrounded by bees. It's just can't imagine how beautiful this vision would have been. The effulgence of Vamana Dev's toenails reduced the effulgence of Brahmalok. because Vamandev's toe had reached the outer covering of the Brahmanda. It had gone past Brahmalok and pierced the outer covering of the Brahmanda. And all the sages like Lord Brahma and Marichi and the yogis, they all seemed insignificant in comparison to the brightness of Krishna's toenail. Everybody came to worship this Virat group. Everyone is like, oh, once in a, day of Brahma, can they have darshan? Actually, never. When would they have darshan of the Virat group? Everybody can see it. This is the beauty of this Virat group. When he shows it to Arjuna, only Arjuna could see it. This is such an adbhut rupa of the Lord. Nobody can have this opportunity and a great fortune to see it. So everybody's just like, mind is blown. They've all come to worship this universal form of the Lord. And they wash, Brahmaji worships the Lord, and again he washes the feet of this Virat Brahmana with oblations and offers prayers unto him. Dhatu kamandalam jalam tad urukramasya padavane jana pavitrataya narendra sradhinyadhum navasisa patati nimarshti lokatrayam bhagavato vishadeva kirtihi. The water from Brahma's pot, purified by washing the lotus feet of Lord Vamana, became the water of the Ganga. Falling down from the sky, it purifies the three worlds like the pure fame of the Supreme Lord. Beautiful. The fame of the Supreme Lord. This kirtana, when we speak about Krishna, when we hear about Krishna, this is called kirtan. And that fame, these pastimes, when we hear about it, it purifies us. Just like the Ganga purifies the bather. Whenever anyone enters the Ganga, Gangaji takes away all the sin. How merciful. Similarly, Krishna's yasha, the fame of the Lord itself is purifying when we hear about him. Okay. What's there next? Then Vamana comes back to his original form, and everybody's worshipping him through flowers, water, sandalwood pulp, lamps, fruits, and soul, and they all are dancing and singing in praise, musical instruments. It is a big celebration. This incredible thing has happened. No one has ever seen this before in their life. They're just in complete shock and awe and completely overwhelmed with joy. Everybody is joyous. Now the demons are they're getting very scared because they can see the Virat Rupa with all the weapons. So they think, okay, well, this is not good for us. They start attacking. And there's actually a mini battle that happens. The Devas and the Devatas, the Devas and the Asuras are having a mini war. Bali Maharaj has to say, okay, no. That's not what I want. This is not just like Indra's time had come and he could do nothing when we took his pad. Now our time has come. We can do nothing except surrender. The Supreme Lord has arrived. I will give everything in charity. There is nothing that can be done. We must wait for our time to turn. This is an important lesson in life. When things are not going our way, we shouldn't just be so pig-headed and think, no, I'm going to change my destiny. Nothing can stop me. There's a lot of, misinformation out there that kind of riles us up sometimes into thinking we can change everything. No, we should have some humility to understand, okay, the intelligence to understand this is not a good time for me. Let me be a little bit humble in this moment and accept that maybe I wait for another more opportune moment to, progress or become successful. The humility is important because we are not the supreme controllers. It's a hard lesson for most of us because we continue to think, no, if I just manipulate this way or just change this or I try this harder and put more money and more time and more energy, then I'm going to win. Well, good luck with that. That's not the case. Those who are already destined by their karma and by Daiva, by the Supreme Lord, success will come without even trying. So we should try our best, but also be very, very vigilant when it's not our time to surrender to Krishna and to be like, okay, This is what your arrangement is right now. Okay, favor of providence. The demons then entered the lower planets, therefore Garuda arrested Bali. So they had to listen to Bali Maharaj. All the demons went into the lower planetary systems, they fled, they hid, and then Garuda captures Bali Maharaj because he knows what his master is going to do. And then this is the tricky part. Even the demigods are shocked. My dear Lord, what are you doing? Bali has given you everything. He's gone against his guru. He's gone against everybody's best judgment. He's, all the demons are going to even be angry with him. He's done the greatest sacrifice. Please, please, don't do this to him. Well, before that, obviously, the third step has not been taken. I have rushed to the last part. There was a great roar of lamentation throughout the upper and lower planets when Lord Vishnu has arrested Bali. So Bali is arrested between the second and the third step. Third step has not been taken. Vamana Dev is okay with him being arrested, and he says, okay, Bali, you promised me 3 steps, but I have nowhere to put my third step. What am I supposed to do? You are going to now be unable to fulfill your promise, which means you now have to go to the hellish planets. You must suffer for not being able to keep your word. Why would Krishna do this? He's given everything. There's so many reasons given here, again and again, highlighting the secret mercy that Vamana Dev is trying to bestow upon Bali. Like I said earlier, he's increasing his yasha, his fame. Bali Maharaj is going to be talked about for millenniums, actually eternity. All the Vaishnavas in the universe will always look up to Bali Maharaj and try to understand how we can surrender ourselves. This is a lesson for us. So Krishna wants to enact this Leela with him to show just how great Bali is. Because even after he gets tied up, what does Bali say? My dear Lord, please place your third foot on my head. My head is still remaining. And what's the word? The reason given as to why would the head of Bali be worthy. If Krishna can take over so much in 1 foot, the entire planetary systems, if he can take that in 1 step, what worth does Bali's head have to offer it? That's not worth much. But the acharyas explain that the person who owns a thing is more valuable than the thing itself. So up until now, Bali Maharaj was the proprietor and ruler of all these worlds. So his head is the most valuable. So in that sense, when he offers up his head, the Lord places his foot on his head. And it's just, there was a few reasons given by Vamana Dev. He says, now you're going to have to go to hell. But far from going to heaven or fulfilling one's desires, one who doesn't properly give charity goes to hell. But there's a secret hidden here. Krishna is not going to be sending him to hell. He's not actually going to any of the real Patala Loka, He's going to be going to a special planet called Sutala Loka. And this planet is so opulent and so beautiful and so wonderful that even the demigods don't have access to this planet. So it's actually far beyond, the opulence of Swarga itself. Then it's also explained that heaven is not for a devotee. For a bhakta, they have zero desire to remain in heaven. So when Krishna says, you're not going to be going to heaven, you're going to go to hell, actually the reasoning given is that the devotee has no desire. Bali did not want to be in heaven. He only did this because his guru had asked him. So the pure devotee has no interest in being in heaven or hell or anywhere. He wants to be wherever the Lord puts him. Then he also says, although you'll be situated in Sutala Lok now, you are more elevated since the pleasure of Sutala is not available in Swarga. You will especially attain me, since you have offered everything to me, mind, body, and soul, and you will attain me as your doorkeeper. Bhagavan will become the Dwarapal of Bali in Sutalalok. And because of your complete surrender to me. But he's still, externally, this is internal. These are the internal reasons given. Externally, he's still telling him, you were falsely proud of your wealth, Adhyamanina. You promised to give me land, but you could not fulfill your promise, so you must live in hellish life as a result of lying. So externally, philosophically, Krishna is giving other reasons, but internally, the reasons are, the indirect meaning is, oh Bali, you are more respected even than Indra by people, Adhyamanina, meaning more mana is given to you than Indra himself, Adya, because you have attained me. Enjoy the pleasures of Sutala given by me. Then during the 8th Manvantara, I will put you in the post of Indra, and after that, take you to my Vaikuntha abode. So the plan was he goes to Sutala, then in the 8th Manvantara, Bali will become Indra again. So on and so forth. There's just so much beautiful exchange. I'm going to stop. Just two more points I wanted to make. But there's so much back and forth between the Lord and Bali. Well, Bali accepts it wholeheartedly, and he's so overjoyed. Even when he's all tied up, and he's being told he has to go to a hellish planet. Sutala is not really hellish, but he is completely overjoyed. He's so, he considers himself so fortunate that he was able to give something to Krishna, to have this darshan of the Lord and have this beautiful relationship with him. So, he calls it Uttama Shloka, and there's so many beautiful reasons. Uttama Shloka means one who is glorified in all the shlokas. Like, he is the main topic of discussion for the greatest of poets. That is Uttama Shloka. So why? What does Krishna do, especially in this form of Vamana? He does all these adbhuta, amazing, incredible things that, normal people don't do. Not even normal people, no demigod does it. None of the gods do this kind of stuff. What did he do? He pretended to beg. The supreme proprietor and origin of everything pretends to beg. He is the goddess of fortune. He is Lakshmipati. And yet he comes as a beggar, a little beggar boy to beg. Why? Simply to fulfill the desires of his devotees and to increase the fame of his devotee. You do disgraceful acts. He's Uttama Shloka because he does disgraceful things, like he is deceitful with Bali. He came disguised as a Brahmana. Nobody else does this. Nobody else does these deceitful acts. He's cheated Bali. He said 3 steps of land, but he actually took everything. He sided with mixed devotees and opposed the pure devotees. What does that mean? He's saying that the devas wanted a position. Aditi just wanted a position for her sons. That's not real bhakti. That's Mishra. Yes, you go to the Lord with your desires, and that's okay. You're allowed to do that. But actually, the pure devotee who wanted to give you everything, you pretended to be on. You're arresting me. These are all like the reasons that we can call Krishna's leelas as adbhuta. It seems that he is opposing his pure devotee Bali, but actually this is his greatest gift, his greatest mercy. He says, the mercy you have shown the devas is only a drop compared to the mercy you're showing me. I'm getting an ocean of your mercy, even though you're making me poor and taking everything away from me. That's how Bali is feeling. You've cheated the demigods because you've only given them dharma, artha, kama. You're giving them things that are material, but you're giving me something very special. That's what Bali thinks. I took pleasure in understanding the Lord's purpose. Okay, I'm going to... there's so much here. I really, really can't recommend enough. Please, if you get this chance, especially during Pitru Paksh coming up right now, in the Shruti Phala given at the last verse of this entire katha, it said that when you read this, when you read and hear about the pastimes of these amazing avatars of the Lord, it makes everything auspicious. It's the best way to perform shraddha or any other ritual, any other karmas that we do, karma kanda activities that we do. This is the most powerful way to hear about Bali Maharaj and Vaman Dev during this Pitru Paksh that's coming up. So please, even for your forefathers, read the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam. It is free, it's online. You can just search from the database, Srimad Bhagavatam, and really immerse yourself in this incredible pastime of love between God and his devotee. I'm just going to highlight one last thing, that after Bali gets sent to Sutalalok, Krishna then Vamandev then turns to Shukracharya and he kind of taunts him. What was it that your Sishya did? What is the great mistake that he made? Which is why you cursed him. He was trying to tell him, you cursed him for a material thing of disobeying you. He's trying to mock him in a sense. And so he's asking him, can you tell me what mistake your Sishya, your disciple made that you cursed him? And so Shukracharya gives 2 incredible verses. And it's really important to understand that even though Shukracharya externally seemed to be against the Lord, we must never make the mistake of thinking somehow that he is fallen or, he's an asura. He's actually a pure devotee of the Lord. And it becomes highlighted in these 2 shlokas where he says, Janma karma vayo rupa vidyaishvarya dhanadibihi yadyasya na bhavet stambhas tatrayam mad anugraha. He's saying that actually high birth. I read the wrong one. Oh, that's not the one that Shukracharya said. I'm sorry. That was pridelessness of the Lord's mercy. That verse states that high birth, good activities, youth, beauty, education, opulence, and wealth, despite possessing all of these, if one is not proud, such a person is understood to be favored by me. This is actually Vamana Dev speaking. That one who has all of these opulences, high birth, youth, beauty, education, opulence, and wealth, and they're not proud, that means they have my special mercy on them. That means that they have I am the source of their pridelessness. They're favored by me, which is why they can be prideless. So even pridelessness is not our own doing. It's beautiful. We cannot become humble simply based on our own efforts. We must be favored by the Lord to remain humble. Such a beautiful point he makes. Because Bali was humble. But that is the grace of Krishna. That is the grace of God in his life. Coming back to Shukracharya's two verses. That was the wrong page. Shukracharya is saying there's no fault when the Lord is worshipped. When Krishna asks him, what was Bali's fault? Then Shukracharya admits defeat and he says, actually there's no fault. So it's a beautiful verse. Kutastat karma vaishamya yasya karmeshvaro bhavan yagnesho yagna purushaha sarva bhavena pujitaha. Where is the chance of fault or discrepancy in sacrifice where you, the master of rituals, the master and the enjoyer of all sacrifices, are worshipped in all respects? So Shukracharya admits that there can be no question of fault or vaishamya, discrepancy, in any sacrifice where you, the Lord of the sacrifice, are present, or you are the object of the worship. So you, by your presence, and by you being the object of worship, you purify it. There's no question of fault, simply because you are present. Sarva bhavena pujitaha, you are yagnesho, yagna purushaha. Then the next verse is even more beautiful. He describes the power of the holy name. Shukracharya is describing the power of the holy name. Pay attention, isn't that amazing? He says, mantratas tantratas chidram desha kalarha vastutah sarvam karoti nischidram anusankirtanam tava. The faults in chanting mantratas, observing rules in regards to time, place, person, and paraphernalia. Tantratas, desha, kala, vastutaha, all of these things, if there's any chidram, if there's any fault, all of that will become nishchidram. Sarva karoti nishchidram will become nullified and faultless simply when your holy name is chanted. Anusankirtanam tava. Shukracharya is telling this to the Supreme Lord. That all fault is removed simply by your kirtan. In any kind of yagna, any kind of mantra chanting or tantra, anything that we're doing becomes auspicious simply by chanting his mantra, his names, chanting his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's all we really have to do. This is Shukracharya Niti. And he says, I must follow your order. Tavagnya Nupalanam is the most auspicious and the first duty for everybody. I'm going to end here. The Shrutifal for this is amazing. It's supposed to remove all of our sinful, reactions. All papam is destroyed by hearing about Vamana Dev, about Bali Maharaj. And not just all papam is destroyed, it also says here, Ya idam deva devasya hare radbhuta karmana avataranu charitam shrinvan yati param gatin. Shrinvan yati param gatin. Anyone who hears about the avatara anucharitam, anyone who hears about the different avatars of the Lord, hears about it, reads about it, speaks about it, we attain the supreme destination. So joyous, so easy, so simple. Why wouldn't we do it? I urge you all, please make the most of the next week and continue forever. The Srimad Bhagavatam is your best friend. If you don't have a copy of the incredible 12 canto of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, please go to your nearest temple, get a set, because it's something else to have it in your home with you. The Bhagavatam, is non-different from Krishna himself. And the joy we can get out of this. Last time somebody was asking me, but this kind of surrender is so difficult. It becomes easier when you hear about it. It becomes easier when you read and associate with, these Mahajans, these great Mahanubhavas, who you can get a little glimpse of how it's done. Then you can aspire towards it. I will let you off here. Shakuntalaji is asking me, Hare Krishna, Shakuntalaji, when will we restart the women's Sangha classes? Soon, I hope. It's difficult for me to find time all the time. It has to be whenever I find the time. It's difficult. Please forgive me. I will try to start again. Watching from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Keshavji. So many people here. I really appreciate. Yamuna Jeevan Haldarji, Hare Krishna. Welcome to Surat, Gujarat. Sushilji, Hare Krishna. Very nice. Okay, how can one develop Krishna consciousness within himself with constant distraction? Yeah, that is the beauty of Maya Devi. She does her job very, very well. That's her one purpose, is to distract us. So really there is no other way except for reading Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, chanting and keeping that association. It's very simple if we understand what has to be done. We must keep that Sangha. We must be in that Bhakti Sangha. So there's so much. If you're not around the temple, you can hear online. The best thing is to start reading Srila Prabhupada's books, reading the Bhagavad Gita along with the purports, reading the Bhagavatam along with the purports. That Krishna consciousness will become revived. You will have that strength simply by association with these leelas and hearing about it. So there's no question. It's very straightforward. Hindi mein kariye. Okay, I'll leave it here. We're going to go to the temple now. Happy Vamana Dwadashi to you all. Please forgive me if I've made any mistakes, and I pray for everybody to find the time and find the joy in reading Bhagavatam. Vamana Dev Bhagavan ki jai ho. Hare Krishna. Thank you.